So we're going to get that high-profile top 20 matchup we wanted next week between Utah and Texas Tech. But are either of these teams good? That's the question I come to you with today. Are either of those teams good, Utah and Texas Tech? Because I think we still have more questions than answers on both of these teams, to be completely honest. This is not a one or the other. This is not picking on Utah because they had a really, really sluggish first half at Wyoming on Saturday. I have legit questions here about both teams, all right? But kudos to both for taking care of business. Weird road trip for Utah. Weird weather delay yet again for Texas Tech, and it did not matter at all, man. That offense looks so explosive right now. Baron Morton, somebody, Texas Tech fans, all of you guys who emailed me, tweeted me, commented here on the show, somebody must have clipped me saying that I worry about Baron Morton's ceiling when it comes to projecting Texas Tech to win the Big 12 because the guy looks like he's just coming straight for me with a flamethrower, right? I mean, 464 yards, 4 touchdowns on Saturday. He's got 11 touchdowns on the season already. And these are bombs. I was listening to him talking about all the weapons that he has after the game. I mean, he is right. They have weapons all over the place. 38-yard touchdown, 61-yard touchdown, 30-yard touchdown, 23-yard touchdown. Texas Tech has 6 touchdown passes of 30 yards or longer this season already. This is an explosive team. And everybody knows about the defensive line talent, right? Lee Hunter, David Bailey, all the transfers that they brought in on the defensive line. But watch out for what they've got going on offense, man. Virgil, Carter, Aiken. Coy Aiken, I think, might be my favorite. I should be careful in making this statement, especially this early in the year. Coy Aiken is certainly one of my favorite players in the entire league right now. Love watching that guy play. Seems like he's always open. Every time I look up on the screen on Saturday, that guy is making a huge play for Texas Tech. So, yeah, Tech did it again. I mean, they just clobbered Oregon State. Oregon State scored 2 garbage time touchdowns late in the game to make that look, I mean, not even respectable, but more respectable than it actually was. And while Oregon State's 0-3, I certainly no illusions about them being good. But it's more of a pulse than what Tech saw the first 2 weeks, and we still basically just saw them rip somebody limb from limb. The question is, okay, how does that translate when you do take a massive jump up in competition next week and put it on the road and put it in altitude and put it in one of the toughest environments in the league at Rice-Eccles? That's the question we have to answer about Texas Tech, man. That's what we need to know. And it's absolutely fascinating. I mean, I think it's a wonderful, perfect matchup to have this early in the season, especially because on the other side, I think there are a lot of questions there, too, that we're trying to figure out about Utah. And some of that is because of things that Utah couldn't even control this week. But that UCLA game, I mean, it is fair to raise the question. Okay, I mean, New Mexico just went in and won 35-10. So what does 43-10 really mean? So you took Devin Dampier. Well, Devin Dampier's old team without him and without the offensive coordinator, they just went in and won 35-10 at UCLA. So, hey, still did your job. Good work. But was that good, very good, great? Or was that solid? We don't really know. I will say this about Utah. They're definitely more battle-tested from an environment standpoint, having to go play in Laramie, UCLA. I mean, I know there's 5 people at the Rose Bowl. But going to play in Laramie, tougher atmosphere, weird type of, and that's just one of those places where weird things happen. And I know that I don't need to tell Texas Tech fans twice about that. Laramie is just a place where you're going to get some weird games sometimes, and that always makes it dangerous. And people are keeping an eye on that first half between Utah and Wyoming being okay, you're playing with fire here, but bam, 4 straight touchdown drives. Devin Dampier is making crazy plays. The play where he just drops the ball, picks it back up, and then spins and throws one into a tight window in the corner of the end zone. I was just damn, man. And Dampier, speaking of question marks, biggest question that I had about him, everybody referenced this stat, and I know it made you guys mad, Utah fans. I know that this made you mad. I saw it on Twitter all offseason long. Dampier had 12 touchdowns, 12 picks last year. And everybody said it's a very easy talking point. I said it myself. Legitimate question, too, but a very easy talking point for people to latch onto. Well, this kid, he was 12 touchdowns and 12 picks in the Mountain West last year. Like, what's going to happen in the Big 12 when you're moving up a level? Well, I mean, so far he has not played a Big 12 team, but so far so good at taking care of the ball. Like, Dampier's got 7 touchdowns, no picks in 3 games. And he's doing stuff like that. Like, he is still giving you a flair for the dramatic and some of the spectacular stuff. He is running the ball well. Now, can you continue to give him 13 carries at every single game? We'll see how he holds up over the course of a Big 12 season doing that. But at least early in the season, that experiment still looks like it's going pretty well. They had over 500 yards of offense. I mean, people will look at the first half box score and be like, well, what happened offensively in the first half? They were moving the ball. There were 3 missed field goals, a bunch of penalties. There were 6 penalties in the first half. Just sloppy, weren't finishing. And again, trap game, road game in Laramie before a massive matchup the next week when you already knew that Big Noon Kickoff is going to be in town for the game against Texas Tech. I'm not going to crush Utah for that, but the combo of Utah sleepwalking a bit and UCLA just, exposing themselves fully for what they are and firing the coach and all. I'm back to having a little bit more of an inquisitive attitude about Utah here, well, acknowledging that on the same side, we've got that with Texas Tech. But man, what a fantastic matchup this sets up next week. I mean, first of all, I'm thrilled for the league that it winds up being a top 20 matchup, and it's also on a week when there's not like a bunch of obvious huge games to soak up the spotlight from you. You've got one other ranked v ranked matchup, and that's Illinois and Indiana. So while it is, I mean, I'll have more to say on that in a moment. I actually think that's an awesome game, really fascinating game, not getting enough love nationally, and it's everything that makes college football great. It's also not 2 big brands. You're not dealing with a bunch of huge games between behemoth brands and top 5 or top 10 teams next week. So that should put a little extra shine, at least from what people are paying attention to next week, on that game in Salt Lake. So I love that for the league. And if you think about the storylines, man, it is rich with storylines for this game. Like everything I've outlined, Tech, most interesting offseason in the conference, one of the most interesting offseasons in the country, stole the spotlight in the portal. How does that look this year? Can Tech buy a championship? We'll start to find out. They're going to go up against one of the most rugged, consistent programs in the Big 12 in Utah. And Utah had the rough year last year. They bring in this new quarterback that looks dazzling, is taking care of the ball now. Defense is still basically as strong as ever. They've held all 3 of their first opponents under 230 yards. They didn't give up a score until there were under 5 minutes left in the game against Wyoming. How does all that look now when you put that together and put these teams together in a very tough environment? Texas Tech wants to go fast. Utah is going to want to be more grinded out sort of an affair. You've got a great offensive line, defensive line matchup. Like Utah may have 2 first-round picks on its offensive line. Texas Tech has an all-star cast of characters that came in largely via the transfer portal on that defensive line. So you get that individual matchup. If you're talking about just the football heads here, man, like the nitty-gritty of what you're going to see in the trenches of this game, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome, and I can't wait for it. So with good reason, we'll get to see that on Big Fox at 11 a.m. That should get a great treatment from the Fox broadcast, which seems to do a much better job of spotlighting these things and making it all exciting and great. Speaking of that, I said Fox does a great job of that. You did not hear me mention another network that we're going to talk about in just a moment, okay?